Hello, and welcome to another Wildcard character breakdown for you. This one is going to be for Locke. All of his abilities now are in a more, we'll say, permanent state, so I can talk about them and not give you misinformation. So, so we're going to talk about Locke. Locke is predominantly an attack character. He is good for in doing quick engagements and pulling out, which can be seen by his mobility bar. He is not for defensive playing, though you can play him defensively. That's not what he's predominantly built for. He is predominantly built for doing damage and high mobility damage. So with Locke, he has a dash that will dash him forward. It is different than Balgar's run or Ragnar's flame dash. There isn't a time ability now with it, so you can't dash through people to time lock them. Instead, now he has a new type of ability where he can do ranged attacks. So he has taken away that time dilation because it was becoming a problem, especially especially when you're coupling it with a couple cards. It made interesting games, but nonetheless, they've changed him, and I like what they've done with him. It's different, and it can be utilized in a lot more ways than his previous time dilation ability worked. So now what happens is you can actually go into a hover stance where you are up in the air. The longer you hold down the ability, the higher up into the air you will go. And when you are up in the air, there are some advantages and some disadvantages. The predominant disadvantage is that any ranged monster that is on the field that is in range of you immediately will start targeting you. You are their primary target. That's who they're going for. It doesn't matter if there is a monster right next to them. They're gonna come for you because none of the non-ranged characters can do anything to you when you're up in the air. Um, some of the benefits of the hover ability is that instead of doing hand to hand combat that Locke does, he then gets a ranged ability where he can shoot out an electrical blast, and it does okay damage. It's not a lot of damage. It's not supposed to be one hit kill because then that would break him. But it does good damage. And there is a white reticle, or well, a white outline on the characters that you are aiming at that are in range of being hit by it. So if they are not in outlined in a white line, then your attack will not hit them. But you get to be up in the air where non-ranged characters can't touch you and you can attack at range. This can be used to also escape. You can jump out of the fight and be at range and still be able to attack while you're backing away. You're just kind of flying away a bit. And it's a really good ability. I recommend checking it out and seeing how it works for you. Volt is much the same. When you activate Volt, he will do damage to all of the monsters in an area around. There is like a slight delay, and I personally don't know if you have to make a hit first or it's just a slight delay and then it hits because I'm generally attacking when it happens. I haven't really experimented with it because everyone tryhards in these games, and so you got to try hard yourself. And all that good stuff. Now, his special ability is kind of the same in that the animations are the same, but instead of a time dilation, it is an overclock. So you are moving faster and you are attacking faster. You're able to output more damage and get to your enemies quicker within that field. So it is really good for when you get up and close and like um, they have like a little bit more health than you and you need to even it out, use that ability, and then you will be moving faster and you'll be able to just knock down their health really quickly compared to your health. And it's really good. The ultimate ability has pretty much stayed the same for the recent builds or the recent versions. He does throw out multiple cards, and those cards then um, bring out monsters, and it's a great way to bolster your forces or to create a push or a good defensive measure, or even if you take out their goalie and it's their core exposed, that's a great way to re-up your monster allocation on the core doing damage. And then the way that the ultimate actually fills is not like any of the others. Theirs is over time. I don't think Neva's is. No, no, okay. Neva's default is those gears, I believe. But with Locke, it is over time, and it does take a while, so it's not going to be instantaneous. They also took out the ability to for a card to have a quicker uh, charge time, but you can use a card to have drops that will charge up your ultimate when you last hit monsters. So it's a great way to charge up your ultimate kind of quickly. It's just not like stupidly fast, but it's still really good. On the ways on how to play Lock, what you want to do is you want to position yourself in a way that you can quickly go in to do damage and then be able to get out as well. A couple recommendations for that is you can dash in, start to do a lot of damage while you're doing damage. You can charge up your hover, and then you can jump out and then back out while doing range damage. Another way is you can hover at range and like get close to them up in the air where they can't touch you while doing damage. You can cancel your hover and then you can get down in there to do damage. And then when your health gets kind of low, you have your dash and you can dash right out. Uh, while you're attacking, also recommend using Volt because that's going to not only attack the person that you're attacking, but everything around. So that's a great way to do AoE damage while you're in there doing damage. I don't think you can use it while you're hovering, but I say check it out, see if you can. If you can, that'd be interesting. But I don't think you can, and that might be for the better. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try that out. I'm gonna have to remember to try that out. But yeah, those are his abilities and some suggestions on how to play into him. When you are playing monsters, because they are a quick attack kind of character, you have a couple of options. You can do bunch of low mana cards. That way you are continuously outputting units, creating fodder around you or distractions around you, so you're able to go in and out with more ease because there's going to be more things for the other team to have to target besides you. Or you can do a selective variety where you have just a couple low mana cards that you can throw out real quick if you need, and then specialized high damage cards like Jans, who does that range damage and that time dilation when they're summoned if they are summoned on a player or monsters. um, there's also getting Deadeye for that range damage, so that while you're hovering in the air, you can be doing that range damage, and with your Deadeye, being able to do range damage. That also goes with Buckshot and Beakit, and actually Zip Zap. Zip Zap's also really good if you can um, position them well. They can do a lot of damage, and a bonus with the hover ability that I did not mention before is that you can summon monsters while you're hovering. So you can put yourself in a position to see the entire field and say, okay, over here or over there is going to be where I want to actually summon my cards. So while you're up in the air, you can cancel the hover and dash, so you're dashing up in the air, so you can get better positioning and then be able to throw out your cards. And this is about to make a lot of new plays just by mentioning this. Okay. I can already see them in my head. But yeah, that's another thing you can do because I have done that before with Locke. You can also dash in the air with all of the characters. I do know with Neva there is a way to do a super jump. I just don't know the actual way to do it. I've done it a couple times, but that's neither here nor there. With Locke, you'll be able to hover and you'll have that high area. As far as I know, you cannot jump in the air after canceling hover before you hit the ground. If you could, then you could kind of bunny hop in the air, and I don't think that's something that will be wanted in the game possibly. But I know that you can dash, and that's great for repositioning while you're falling to the field. Which I mean, at that point, you're back on the field where you're targetable by everything, as opposed to a percentage that are arranged. Um, a couple things I will recommend about the cards. This is my time stream build. We'll kind of go over it a little bit while we go over the cards. Blur. What this does is this will give you a shield after you dash. I predominantly use this for engagement as opposed to de-engagement. The reason being is that I can be at full health at a distance, and I can dash to close the distance. And then I will have that overshield. So I will have a full health bar and a full shield as I go in on a player that either has full health or a percentage of health, and then I can just target them and I can just continue to target them. They'll attack me and they'll take out my shield, but then I'll still have my full health. By that time, my dash probably is already back, and so when they do damage to me, I can immediately back out, and there was less risk because I had that overshield. I also do harvest energy because if I can last hit monsters, especially like Spord or the Toads or the Punks, then those are easy charging up my ultimate over time. It makes it a little bit easier. I also do like having Bolt as critical damage because I like that AoE critical damage percentage chance, and that I just get a little bit extra. It's just a little bit extra. Nothing special, nothing crazy. I like it. It's what I want. He also does have other cards like Evasive Maneuvers. This one can actually be really good. You could take this out and do this, and this just gives you an overshield the same as dash. So anytime you are uh, jumping in, you have a shield. Anytime you go up into the air where the enemy ranged monsters will target you, you have an overshield. So it's a really good one. I recommend it as well if you're not a fan of this. I just kind of like this more. There's also Paradox, which is really good. I haven't really played with it much, but it is really good. I've seen it in action. And all it does is when you throw out a card, there's a chance that you get to keep the card. So you could potentially um, summon uh, with chance 2, and then with an even ghastly smaller chance 3. And just like luck of the gods 4 times in a row. Like that would be interesting if you could just do like a 4 stack of the punks, just a wave just coming down. But like still 2 stack, that's good. That's 6 of them, or that's 12 of them right there. That's a nice little push. So it's good. You could even get that like with your Lump for healing, or Fendor for overshield, or your Jans even. So like it has utility. I just haven't really played it that much. I've seen it in action and it is good, so I do recommend it as well. Then there's also Time Slip, and this one works with your ultimate. So when you use your ultimate and you throw down all of the monsters that you have that come with the ultimate. Then you can also throw down a Fendor, which will grant everything in the summoned area an overshield. So they'll get extra protections when they're getting summoned and while they're getting summoned, and potentially even yourself, your teammates, uh, monsters, and if you are happen to be at your core, even your goalie. So it's a good little extra boost to your ultimate, especially if you feel that the ultimate is underwhelming for you, or um, you feel like you don't really get a chance to use your ultimate. This could be a little bit of an extra buffer for you in those situations. So I definitely recommend this card as well. It'll definitely help you out. Temporal Discharge. What this does is when you go into your overclocked bubble area where you're moving faster and you're attacking faster, it's for a longer period of time. So you'll be able to move around quicker for faster and attack quicker for faster. So it's really good, especially if you are an offensive type that knows how to really use or really knows how to come in and out real quick and attack and just like really it makes it so that it's easier for you to lower your opponent's health points. Um, the other card that there is Dial It In, and it just decreases the cooldown for your overclock ability. So you'll be able to move around faster and be able to attack faster more often because the cooldown's lower. As far as summons for the time stream build, this one is focused on attack. This is about pressure and fighting and actually like engaging. So with this, you have low mana cards that are quick to throw out. This guy builds up over time, so you're getting more return for the value. And punks, it's just a low level, but you get like a good amount with them and their range, so you can couple these two together really well. You also have your Spore for pushing down the lanes and increasing their number so that you can just get a better push with more pressure as it's going along. I usually recommend doing it for the bottom lane if you are on Lush Lands, but if you are on Frostborn, I think it's Frostborn, it's the one where the ramp goes up and above everything else. And it's not like the other maps. It's got like four lanes per se. It's got one deep in the center, two on the side of that, and then one that goes up and around, up and over and around. This sport's really great for that because it has such a long distance that it can really build up, especially if the enemy team isn't paying attention to that lane, then they're going to be able to move unresisted. Or if you pair them with some punks or some tadpoles, they'll be able to run interference from any monsters on the enemy team while your sport is still building up those units. You have a lump, obviously, for your health. You have some ranged units. You have a stationary unit for defense. It's great to put either on the lanes themselves, kind of in a more aggressive fashion, or in the enemy team's territory, or in some situations, even as a defensive unit. He's really good all over the maps. So I definitely recommend him because he's going to be shooting at range. He has good damage. He shoots very often. He's able to move out of danger. It's just a really good pick for poke damage and ranged engage. Buckshot's really good for damage over time. Every time he does damage, he gets a boost in his damage for those consecutive attacks. Wachi is great for either being a good defensive deterrent or just an absolute menace. Really depends. What I mean by that is you can throw Wachi on your side at like the lanes, at like where they taper off into your main goal, and he's a good defensive positioner, and it deters monsters from being able to get to your core. Or you can make him into an absolute menace and throw them at the other enemy team's area, and he'll stay in that general area and just attack anything that's around there. He does not have a lot of health per se, but you could just throw him out there and he's not gonna get discouraged by, let's say, the core if you throw him in the center of the lane right where it meets their goal area. He's gonna stay right there. He's not gonna go against the goal to get killed. He's gonna stay out of the danger zone and just mess with anything. There's also Heartburn. He does range damage, and they've actually improved him a little bit. He fires quicker, so he's actually doing more damage over time. He's really good. I like him a lot. He's just fun. But you can replace him if you want. Same with Wachi. Um, I mean, and same with even Zip Zap, you can change them out. I personally like Zip Zap because they do increased damage over time. It amplifies the damage the longer that they are attacking. You can kind of throw them at a distance, and they have a good fair amount of distance, and they'll attack. They're great for, let's say you have a push on the enemy core, and there's like a bunch of low level monsters there in the center, and you look off to the side. There's nothing really there. You throw Zip Zap all the way over onto the side, kind of close to the wall. Um, he'll have to walk for a second or two, but it's okay because then he's going to get at maximum range, and the goalie's going to be focused on your monsters, and he's going to be focused on you. He's not going to be focused on Zip Zap. Zip Zap's just going to keep on plugging away, doing increased damage over time until they hit their maximum amount of damage, and they're just going to be plugging away every second. And a unabated Zip Zap can do good damage really quickly. So watch out when you see Zip Zap. They are good at doing damage. Beakit as well. Beakit does good area damage. They do damage to everything in front of them when they shoot out their boomerang attack, and as well on the way back. So it's double damage going all the way through. And yeah, so with this build, what you can do is you can push with your lanes that you're not trying to focus on with multiplying units and low level sustain units. Well, not sustain, low level expendable units to help with the push, as well as while you're diving in there and pushing, you have something close to you that can heal you when you need it. You can also throw out Wachi so that there's something staying at that point and doing damage before you even get in there. You can hover up above and you can position a Deadeye somewhere on the side of the field to get a good vantage point to be able to do attacks. Same with Buckshot, who will start walking down where you go, wherever you throw it for that long range attack. So this will allow you for some quick throws with the 2s and the 3 mana. You don't have to conserve a lot of mana. The only time that you have to actually use a lot of mana is on your Beacon and your Zip Zap. Outside of that, let's say that you have a 10 stack on your mana bar. That's 3 of these guys. You could do a Deadeye, a Buckshot, and a Beacon all right there, 3 ranged while you're attacking in the fray of it all. They're on the outside helping you out. Or you could even throw out a Heartburn, a Punks, a Tadpole, and then you still have 4 mana at that point. You could even throw out a Beacon if you want, or save it. And when your health starts getting low, throw out a Lump, and then you can just back out. So there's a lot of different things that you can use with this deck, but make decks that work for you. Remember that Locke is squishy but fast attacking. As far as wild cards go, Um, I kind of just do my basic. It's what I like. There's situations where I use different wild cards, but I use mana rejuvenation and cooldown reduction so that I can throw out more cards quicker and be able to use my abilities quicker. I like having a shield. It's nice and pretty. He's squishy, so I like that little extra boost. With this deck and these cards, I get this when I'm out of combat every 10 seconds. And I also get one when I'm going and dashing into combat. You can also make one of your champion abilities be the hover over shield. So you could even have a hover shield. So you'd have a hover shield, a normal shield, a dash shield. Shield it up. um, yeah. So like, yeah, and then you could give your horde units shields if you wanted, or your wear and tear units less wear and tear. But I kind of like just having the shield. If you are more the adventurous type, you can uh, use this, though it's not as effective with Locke as per se with like Bulgar. You could also do sharpshooter if you're focusing on a ranged build with a lot of ranged monsters. You can become a ranged lock adversary. So you focus mainly on hovering and having those ranged units to back up your teammates' units, and they're constantly putting out that damage while not necessarily being the frontline damage in it. So especially if you have a teammate that you talk about it with, you can mesh two kinds of decks together. You could do a defensive front push deck for your teammate while you do a ranged lock damage deck build, and you could really just mess up people. If you do it, I'm curious to see what happens. But yeah, outside that, you can get a little extra health if you need it instead of shield, or yeah, if you have a lot of bulwark boost, like a lot of the green background, we'll say, for simplicity's sake, just increase their health. And you could do a full green build and have very beefy monsters, but that's more if you are um, Bulgar per se. It's better. It's a better building technique for Bulgar. Velocity Surge is also really good if you want fast fire units. So if you want Heartburn or the Punks, or let's say you took Tailblazer instead of Zip Zap, you can make them faster. So tons of options. But these are what I recommend for Locke, and this is a breakdown of how his abilities work. Um, Final recommendations I can say for Locke is don't be afraid to push in, but also don't get cocky when you push in, because he is squishy and can can get knocked out really quick, and so you don't want that when you're playing a squishy character because you'll just be spending most of your time in the quote unquote penalty box, the respawn area, waiting to get back into the match. So watch your health, watch how you engage and disengage, and how you use your abilities to engage and disengage, and build a deck that revolves around how you're able to use Lock. If you are more of a front runner, maybe you need a Fendor and a Lump and a Vita drop so you're constantly getting health and you're constantly getting shields. You could have all of your talents be shield abilities, and just your monsters being health and shielding and other kiting abilities, and you could just be a menace on the field, but you wouldn't really be playing the game the way it's intended. But you could still do it. There's tons of possibilities. But yeah, this is the Lock basic overview guide. I hope some of this information was useful for you. Hopefully, this gives you a couple ideas for your decks or how to use Lock. If they didn't, I'm sorry. It kind of happens sometimes. These are just the things that I know, but I'm sure there will be other videos out there that will give you some information that might help you out. Outside that, if you did like the video, please do like and subscribe. But if you don't, I do get it. I don't subscribe to a lot of the stuff. So, I mean, yeah. Still like if you do it, but I get it. Outside that, check out my other videos. I do have other videos for the other characters in this game, as well as a bunch of videos of me using a bunch of my different decks in the game, so you can get an idea of like how my decks work. I don't have a real commentary on how the decks are built themselves because some of these are on a whim, some of them are experimental decks. Some of them are, well, technically they're all experimental decks, but some of them are one purpose specific, and I don't. And when I'm doing these, I have to really just like play every match with a new deck every time, so that I can get them during the playtest periods, and then so I don't have time to really talk about them. But check them out. There's really good. They're really good. They have tons of different combinations. There are a lot of cards that are reused, but that's because some of the cards fit better with my play style, or for the simple fact that this isn't Magic the Gathering that's been out for 20 years and has whatever number of cards they have. This is new. This is still testing. This is still figuring everything out. They have a good number of cards. Um, there's just some that work better for me, so I use them a lot more. There's some that don't work as well for me, so I don't use them as well. I'm sure there are people that use the other cards that I don't predominantly use better, like Elephant, because uh, Brad can use Elephant and gets me. I wish I could use Elephant, but I don't know. It doesn't work for me. But he's good with it. But yeah, that's it. Be sure to check my other videos, and until next time and every time, be safe.